think we all know that mold is toxic, yet mold is in almost every house. If you have a house that's 10 years old or more, then you most likely have mold in your house. It happens anytime there's a water leak in your house. If it's not taken care of right away, it will probably produce mold. And it's something that a lot of people don't really understand how to take care of, and a lot of people overlook. They just think it's everywhere and we have to live with it, and they might not notice the effects that it's having on their health, and they might notice and not think anything of it. It can have effects on your respiratory system, it can have effects on your neurological system, it can make you dizzy, nauseous, it can give you rashes, a whole list of symptoms can be happening to people, and they can not attribute it to being in a moldy environment. I actually came across somebody recently who found out they had mold growing underneath their mattress. It might not even be in your house, it might be underneath your mattress or in your car. It is hard to kill mold because it has such a tiny particle, and when you try to kill mold, more mold spores are released, and even dead mold spores are toxic. And because they are so tiny when they die, even a lot of air purifiers are not going to actually take out mold out of the air. In fact, you need a air purifier that's going to do zero point 0.1 microns to actually deal with mold. And air purifiers are sold that do zero point 0.3 microns that say that they take care of mold. Well, that's just the mold spores that are alive. The mold spores that are dead are just as toxic. And if you're living in a moldy house, you're breathing in toxins all the time, and you're breathing in toxins during the time that you need to be healing yourself. When you're sleeping, when you're resting, these are the times when your body is healing itself. I suffered from mold toxicity living in a moldy apartment for 6 years. I was highly athletic, and I actually got a severe injury from doing aerial straps. And whether or not part of actually having the injury was attributed to what was happening to my body from living in a moldy apartment, I'm not sure. But what I do know is after having that injury, I was not able to come back from that. I spent 6 years struggling, trying to figure out what was wrong with me or just what I needed to do to be able to not be in pain and function enough to survive. And then 6 years went by, and it became really clear to me that the mold in my apartment was causing the neurological component to my injury. So I ended up having to throw away all my things because mold can't easily be washed away. Mold is very, very sticky, especially black mold is very, very sticky. And your clothes accumulate, anything porous is going to accumulate all those little particles. And when you try to kill it, like I said, it just breaks down. Those dead particles are still toxic, and it was making me sick to be around all my stuff. I tried to save my stuff. At the beginning, I tried to save my stuff. I tried to clean myself wearing a respirator, but it didn't work. So the doctor told me, and it was clear to me that there was nothing I could do to save my stuff. I washed my clothes. I had somebody else wash my clothes in a variety of different things, trying to get rid of the mold. But after that, my mold sensitivity turned into a multiple chemical sensitivity. So it actually heightened partially because when you're detoxing from mold, you have a herxing side effect where, because the mold is coming out of your tissues, the symptoms can actually get worse. So you have to detox slowly, and you have to use things like binders and different supplements to slowly get the mold out of your system. And it has been like 5 years now since I've been out of a moldy apartment. I am still highly sensitive. I am still struggling. I'm a lot better than I was before, but it still is a huge part of my life. And it still amazes me that so many people are not aware that this is even a condition, that people actually go through this. This isn't just me, other people go through this, and it tears families apart because sometimes people don't even believe that they're having this reaction. They don't understand that, why is this happening to you and not to me? Well, part of it is because 28% of the population has a gene expression that makes it harder for them to detoxify from things like mold. And it's just as toxic to the rest of the people, but it might not hit them as hard. And there might be other factors contributing to it, a lower immune system or having other injuries surrounding it. And then one person in the family has to go to extremes to take themselves out of mold, such as moving, throwing things away, and the other person doesn't want to have to deal with all the problems that that person has to deal with. So, on top of having a disease that is inhibiting you from so many things in life, your relationships are falling apart, and there's not a lot of resources out there for people with mold toxicity because it's not really recognized as an illness yet. My health insurance doesn't cover a test for mycotoxins. So that would have been the first part for me. I didn't have the money for it. By having a test, you can look at exactly which mold strain is in your system, and different mold strains do different things, so you address it in different ways. I'm hoping that by talking about my experience, people become more aware of how their environment and their air quality can affect their own health and affect their loved ones' health, and that we can have better practices throughout our own living spaces, and people who own buildings can have more, be more, people who own buildings, apartment complexes, people who control the environment in schools and workspaces will be more proactive in doing things like cleaning the air ducts, taking care of mold right away, making sure that moisture doesn't stick around, taking care of leaks immediately, and respecting people's air quality, respecting their health, if necessary, having an air purifier in a space that may be moldy. And also respecting people when they say that they might be having health issues because of the air quality, and helping them do something about it. And that's my mold story.